For next year, are you optimistic about the global economy or pessimistic?
Pessimistic.
Pessimistic.
Pessimistic about the, look, you have a political, you have a monetary, you have a conflict.
Ray Dalio, with over 50 years of experience in the global economic space, has in the past successfully predicted global markets and geopolitical trends. In this video, we'll unravel his latest warning and explore what it could mean for you in the face of an impending economic collapse. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, forecasts a decline in global growth, citing financial sector turmoil, inflationary pressures, geopolitical tensions, and the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. These challenges, compounded by rising debt, internal conflicts, and technological disruptions, paint a concerning picture of the economic landscape. Dalio points out that things are taking a turn for the worse in the economy, with a simultaneous financial issue and internal conflicts adding to the risks. With his keen understanding of historical patterns and cause and effect relationships, Dalio has identified 5 major forces shaping the current global economic landscape. We'll also delve into strategies to safeguard your finances amidst the looming uncertainties. Join us as we dissect Ray Dalio's urgent warning and navigate the complex landscape of global economics. Ray Dalio, the renowned investor, has been giving us some real talk about what's going on. First up, the economy's growth rate isn't exactly hitting the high notes we hoped for. According to Dalio, things are a bit sluggish on the growth front. The IMF even forecasts a decline in global growth from 3.4% in 2022 to 2.8% in 2023, and a moderate rise to 3% in 2024. That's a slower pace than what most experts had anticipated. Alright, let's dive into the main part. Inflation is knocking on our doors, and there's a bit of a ruckus in the financial sector. Ray Dalio's radar is beeping, and he's pointing fingers at a mix of inflationary pressures, financial sector turmoil, and some geopolitical drama. With Russia's invasion of Ukraine causing geopolitical tremors and inflation lurking around the corner, it's like the perfect storm. Dalio's concern is that this could lead to financial dislocations, especially hitting those vulnerable emerging markets and developing economies hard. Now let's talk about the heavy backpacks nations are carrying. It's not just a local problem, it's a global jam. Nations worldwide are juggling concerns like inflation, escalating debt levels, an aging population, and the pesky disruptions brought about by technology. According to Dalio, these challenges are brewing a perfect storm, making it harder for governments to find sustainable economic models. So, we've all been through the COVID-19 roller coaster, but the ride isn't over yet. 3 years later, nations are still picking up the pieces, implementing policies to counter the challenges. However, uncertainties linger like a stubborn cloud. Dalio notes that even with these policy measures, recovery is not guaranteed, especially when you throw in the mix of inflation, internal conflicts, and the widening income gap. Now, let's take a stroll down the historical avenue with Ray Dalio. The man has a knack for connecting the dots between past events and future outcomes. Dalio's deep dive into cause-effect relationships helps us understand how the economic puzzle pieces fit together. By studying what went down in the past, he's arming us with insights to better navigate the present and brace for the future. Now let's zoom in on Dalio's historical radar. He's identified 5 major forces that are shaking things up at an enormous magnitude, echoing the seismic shifts of 1930 to 1945. These aren't just regular tremors, they're tectonic plates shifting beneath the global economic landscape. It's like the perfect storm, but instead of rain and wind, we've got financial changes, internal conflicts, shifts in the world order, acts of nature, and the relentless march of technology. Dalio argues that these forces occurring simultaneously create what he calls the big cycle. Let's break down the forces shaping our economic destiny, Ray Dalio style. First up, we've got the financial force, debt soaring, money printing like never before, and interest rates flirting with zero. Then there's the internal conflict, where wealth gaps and rising populism are causing political storms within nations. Zoom out and we hit the international world order force. Major powers like the US and China aren't exactly sending friendship bracelets to each other. Now throw in some unpredictable acts of nature, like climate change, and you've got a wild card in the mix. Lastly, there's the technological disruption force, with AI and other innovations shaking up the job market. Dalio warns that these forces, now occurring at a magnitude unseen since the 1930s and 1940s, are setting the stage for what could be a game-changing economic shakeup. Let's dive into Ray Dalio's warning about the big cycle and what it means for our economic future. Dalio, the legendary investor, talks about his concept as a historical pattern where major forces align, triggering significant economic shifts. Imagine it like this: a combination of 5 massive waves converging to create a perfect storm in the world economy. These waves or forces include financial and economic factors, internal conflicts within nations, the changing global order, the impact of nature-driven disasters, and technological disruptions. When these forces hit their peak simultaneously, it sets off what Dalio calls the big cycle, leading to monumental changes in our economic landscape. Now let's zoom in on the current state of affairs. Ray Dalio warns us about the looming debt crisis and escalating internal conflicts. Picture this: we're in a situation where debts are skyrocketing, but the number of willing buyers for that debt is dwindling. As a result, the debt's value becomes uncertain. This leaves us perched on the edge of a financial cliff, where if things don't change, it could lead to a significant shakeup in the financial order. On top of that, internal conflicts within nations are brewing due to widening wealth gaps and values clashes, fueling populism. Dalio sees this as a dangerous combination, stressing that economic stress often leads to heightened antagonism within societies, a trend we're witnessing today. Let's talk about 2024, because it's not just another year, it's a big election year in the US, and according to Ray Dalio, we're in for a wild ride. With over 33 Senate seats, the presidency, and control of the House up for the grabs, the stakes are high. Now here's the kicker. Ray Dalio predicts that this election will unfold against the backdrop of bad economic times. Imagine a political showdown in the midst of economic turbulence. Dalio highlights that the fights could get downright vicious, testing the core principles of democracy. With political parties unwilling to compromise and a 30% chance of civil war looming, 2024 might not be the smooth political ride we're used to. Now let's talk about global dynamics. There's this looming cloud over the relationship between the US and China, and it doesn't seem like it's dispersing anytime soon. Dalio's not optimistic about this. In fact, he's predicting intensified conflicts between these two global giants. From trade tensions to geopolitical standoffs, the friction seems to be growing, and Dalio is cautioning us about the storm brewing on the horizon. With the majority of voices in the US being anti-China, political candidates might just outdo each other in a China-bashing competition. Shifting gears a bit, let's discuss the elephant in the room: climate change and natural disasters. According to Dalio, these factors can be catalysts for speeding up the end of a long-term economic cycle. Natural disasters are unpredictable, but their impact is becoming more pronounced and costly. Dalio has been raising concerns about the increased frequency and severity of these disasters, indicating that they could significantly influence the global economic landscape in the coming years. Now let's zoom into the realm of technology. Dalio has been shedding light on the disruptive power of technology, especially AI. There's this debate going on about AI's potential to massively boost productivity, but at the cost of significant job losses. The uncertainties surrounding AI's development, speed, and deployment are adding to the complexity. Dalio is cautioning that the future might not mirror the past, especially with AI in the picture, and understanding this tech is crucial because markets react differently when something new shakes things up. How to prepare for the future? So with all the warnings and buzz about potential economic challenges, it's essential to buckle up and get prepared. According to Ray Dalio, one of the key steps for investors is to anticipate these uncertainties and get ready for the storm. How? Number 1. Diversify your investments. By diversifying your investments across different asset classes, industries, and even geographical regions, spread those eggs in different baskets. Ray Dalio swears by this strategy, and here's why. It helps reduce risk. By spreading your investments across various sectors or types of assets, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. So if one area takes a hit, others might perform better and balance things out. It's like having multiple shields when facing economic volatility. Number 2. Building and maintaining an emergency fund. Ray Dalio recommends establishing and maintaining this cash reserve. It's your backup plan during unexpected events, kind of like a financial superhero swooping in to save the day. This fund can keep you afloat without tapping into your investments when things get a bit stormy in the financial world. Number 3. Managing debt in uncertain times. Alright, let's talk about that pesky thing called debt. Managing it becomes even more crucial in uncertain times. Ray Dalio emphasizes the importance of prioritizing paying down debts, especially those with high interest rates. Number 4. Continuous education and staying informed about market trends. Last but not least, never underestimate the power of knowledge. Ray Dalio advises continuously educating yourself about what's happening in the financial world. Whether it's reading up on market trends, following financial news, or seeking advice from professionals, staying in the loop can help you make more informed decisions about your finances. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and watch this one as well.